Welcome to Hike Point of Sale. In this video, we'll be covering how to issue a quote in your Hike store. So in many cases, your customers may ask for a quote first instead of placing an order on a product straight away. As it hasn't brought you any revenue yet, you'll want to exclude this information from your sales report and not reserve any stock from the product for it. So in Hike, you can do this by using the quote feature that we have available. Now just a few things to note is that the quote feature is not available on all Hike subscription plans, so please ensure that your subscription plan does allow you to make use of the quote feature. And secondly, quotes are not currently synced to any integration that you may have available. So until the quote gets converted into a sale, any information assigned to the quote will only be in your Hike store. Once the quote is converted to a sale, if you do have any integrations turned on, this will be synced over to the integration from there, such as an e-commerce integration or an accounting integration. So in order to enable the quote feature, what you'll need to do is select the Store Setup button on the bottom left here and select the General button. So this will bring you to a screen with all the general settings for your store. And if we scroll down to your general rules, you'll see here that there's an option for activating the quote issuance feature. So if we select this option, scroll down and select the Save button, it will say Done. It will refresh the screen, and this will mean the quote option is now available on your Hike store. So in order to check this quote has been turned on, we need to go to the Point of Sale area and select the Process Sales screen. So once your inventory is loaded up, you'll note that there's a quote option available on the right hand side here. So by selecting the quote option, once again the system will warn you that the quotation that you are creating will not affect any inventory and will not affect any of your sales reporting data. So if we select OK, it will bring you over to the quotation area of the process sale. So by selecting an option and adding a product to the cart, what you'll see here is a product will be added over, similar to the way that you're adding a product when you're processing a sale for a customer. Now the one thing to note with quotations is that you do need to assign a customer in order to process the quote from there. So if we select the quote option without adding a customer, the system will ask you to assign a customer to issue a quote. So what we can do is we can select the Add Customer button. If you have an existing customer available, you can search for it, or we can add a new customer by selecting the Add New Customer button. So we'll create a new customer quickly that we can assign the quote for, and select the Save button here. So now the customer has been created within your Hike store, we're able to select the quote button at the bottom here, which will issue the quote to the customer from there. And you're able to print out the quote, and the quote summary will be provided here. Now in order to view this quote from there, what we can do is press the cross button, select your sales history, and as you'll see here, the quote has been assigned to this customer, and the fulfillment status is marked as a quote. So we have a payment status open, and we're able to convert to sale. So just before we go over to creating and converting a sale, what we'll do is go to the process sale area again and create another quote so that we can show you that the discount offers that are applied to your Hike store will also be applied to the quote as well. So if we select the backpack option and we add a backpack from here, as you'll see here, we have a discount offer created for any orders over $50 will get 10% off. So the backpack value is normally $55. So a discount is being applied for 10% of this value. So the quote is $49.50. So just be aware that any active discount offers that you have on your Hike store will also be applied to the quotes as well. So what we can do is if we don't want to process this quote from there, we can just simply select the discard button and it will just remove this information, similar to what you would do if you were discarding a sale that you were processing. So if we go back to the sales history area, we can now open up this quote from there and look at the various options that are available. So by selecting this quote, what you can see is that you will have the information on what the quote has been assigned, and if any payment has been assigned to it, and any sales history. So you can see here the status is a quote that was issued. So what you can do here is, once the quote has been issued, you are unable to edit the quote from there. So if you do need to edit the quote, what you will need to do first is to select the discard option and discard the quote completely. Now, as the quote has been completed in this case already and created, if you select yes to discard this quote, what it will do is the system will set the quote to voided. So from here, you're still able to open up the voided quote if you want to find any information about it, but you will have no other options available except for to email or print the voided quote from there, and it will be marked in your sales history as voided. So I've issued another quote quickly, and this quote is still open. So we are able to now discard the quote again, or we have an option to duplicate the quote from there. So selecting the duplicate option will simply create another quote with the same information assigned, but without a customer assigned to it. So we can easily assign a new customer if required to this, and issue the quote again by using the duplicate feature. Now let's go into the sales history again and open this quote. Now the last option we have available is to convert this quote into a sale. So you can either select the option here, or when you open up the quote, the convert to sale option is also available on the top right hand side. So selecting the convert to sale option will now bring it over into the process sales screen from there. And from there, all you need to do is simply select the pay option, process the sale for the customer by selecting the payment option. Once the sale has been processed, this will now be a finalized sale. So if we go to your sales history and open up, you will see here that the quote has now been converted into a sale, and the payment status has been marked accordingly from there. So if we open up this information, all the information has now been converted into a sale for you. Now if you do require further information on how to process sales within your Hike store, simply select the process sale area again, and select the Learn button on the top right hand side here. And what this will do is bring up a bunch of videos that you can go over in terms of how to process a sale, or select our support articles which will show you how to complete sales from there. So if we select this, this will bring you over to our support article on how to perform a sale, and you can go over the document as required. If you do require any further assistance regarding how to perform a sale or how to issue a quote from here, you can also select our Need Help button on the top right here, and select either chatting with our support team, which is available 24/7, or submitting a ticket as required. Thank you for your time.